All right, everybody, we're doing it. It's Friday, 1 p.m. I got this light right here in my face so you can't see my beautiful dome. We're ready to make some art. Now, I think, I worked yesterday on that cover for Alex Kammer of Gamehole Publishing and sent him the sketch. He's on vacation right now, so he hasn't gotten back to me. It's, there's no rush. It's all on his schedule. So today, instead of working on that, we're going to get back into the Demise 2018 stream. And let me know if this music is too loud because it seems like it's getting kind of loud right now. I've worked with my mics a little bit. I definitely don't want to be competing with the music. So let me just turn this down. Oops, not all the way off. I like having some music, but I don't want to have to fight with it either. All right, so anyway, so we're not going to be working on Alex Kammer's module today, but we're going to be back into Dismay, and you know what? I'm going to throw in Mermay. I'm going to combine the two. It's going to be perfect. So we're going to have a doomed sailor. That today's prompt word is Heartache for Dismay 2018. So we're going to have a doomed sailor, like maybe the drawing from his perspective. As he's reaching up, he's disappointed. He fell in love with this siren, and she dragged him to his doom. We've all been there, right? So, and then there'll be the mermaid, floating above him from his perspective. That's my goal for the day. So hopefully we get there. I trust you. There's no refunds either. This is free entertainment, kids. All right. So I am going to start off just by making the sketch. So let me adjust a couple things. I've got to hide this OBS screen, get my my browser up to the front so I can actually see you guys in chat today. Yesterday I was having some trouble seeing what was happening in chat. It was you would either come up and disappear too quickly, so I changed that. I had it set to disappear after 60 seconds, but sometimes when I'm concentrating on a drawing, I'm not looking at the chat screen, and some things were coming through. People were asking questions or saying hi, and I felt that I dissed them by not saying hi, and it was just because I didn't see it. And then a couple times, like when Brad would comment, it would just be a B, and his comment would be really big. And it was hard for me to see who was saying what. So hopefully today we got this a little bit better. We'll see. All right, no guarantees. But it's Friday. We're in a great mood. Sun looks great today. Later today I'm going to be going to the Oconomowoc, Wisconsin. That's where I live, Oconomowoc. It's fun to spell to telemarketers or people on the phone. Oconomowoc, Oconomowoc, Wisconsin. Art crawl. So I'm going to go see some other artists have their stuff out. And then next week, Friday, exactly 1 week from today, I'm going to be in Evansville, Wisconsin, not Evansville, Indiana, for their art crawl. And that starts at 4 p.m. just right downtown. So if you're free, next Friday, come on now. I'm showing that my stream went down for a second. But if you're out that way, out in Evansville, Wisconsin, come on in. I'll give you a free high five. Actually, I'm gonna have some merch. I ordered a bunch of merch yesterday. So if you stop in and just say hi or say you watch my stream, I'll give you some free stuff. How's that sound? Now, this guy's pretty loud. We'll see how this music thing goes. I kind of liked it just so it wasn't me, just you guys listening to me breathe through my nose. But if I'm gonna be fighting with the music, then we won't have it. If we can't play nice, I'm just going to take it all away from everybody. Yeah, you got that right, Brad. I just saw your chat message now. It's funny. It's like I don't care. I'll have freelance stuff coming in. I'm like, oh yeah, I should do that. When I finish it is when I get paid. I don't get paid in advance for any of my freelance stuff. And you think that would be motivation enough to be like, all right, we'll get this done and then you get paid. But I'm like, meh. But somehow having being accountable to viewers or being maybe accountable to a set schedule of production, yeah, the productivity is through the roof. So hopefully today we'll like what I've got going on. I think you will. Otherwise, you won't. Whatever. But we're gonna start. So I've got my my gray watercolor pencil here, and I'm trying a new camera angle. We'll see if that works. It kind of gets that big clunky tripod out of my face, and gives me a little bit more room on the tabletop too for my Dickie's barbecue pit. commemorative cup filled with water, but I did have some of that delicious Cascades Jameson yesterday after my stream. All right, so we're going to have the shape of the mermaid up here as she's floating above him. Let's see, I want like her body to kind of make an S shape. And how's the music sound, Brad? Is it too loud? And then we got her body just kind of swirling around here. And I want an arm out and kind of on her hip here. All right. Face is going to be kind of be this way. And then a hand up here. All right, and then the we'll have like some coral here. I guess I should have gotten some photo references of coral, so I'm just gonna, as a landlubber, as a a man born in the Western states and raised in the Midwest, I've never probably seen coral in real life, to be honest. Just makes me think of The Walking Dead. Coral, tiny bit too loud. All right, Brad, let me turn that down a little bit. I think the problem is that I've got it just coming through a speaker that's under my desk, and the heavy bass makes it vibrate a little bit too. I was trying to figure out a way to just have the audio stream from my Amazon Music just come right through OBS, which is my broadcasting software, but I couldn't figure out how to do it. Like I was doing what I needed to do, and it still wouldn't give me the option. So I'm not a sound engineer, obviously, by any stretch of anybody's imagination. But, all right, so we're getting back to screen here. All right, so we got this going on, and then the sailor's arm. He's got some beefy forearms. Is here, like reaching out in dismay, and yeah, it might be a little bit too bright for you guys to see that right now, but it'll all be evident here in a second. This is just the sketch. And his hat maybe will be floating here. And some bubbles. All right, and what I'd like to do this time is sort of a break from the norm. I'm going to use that sponge that we've got from last time. Let me just readjust my desktop here a little bit. I'm going to use that sponge we had last time, and just use that to put some color into the background. So here I've got some blue ink. Just shake it up real good. I know you guys like to see me gyrate on the screen. Look at that blubber fly! Classic Simpsons quote. All right. Ooh, that's too much. Okay, so I've got some just straight blue ink here on the palette, the Dr. P.H. Martin's again. And I'm gonna get a good bit of water, drop it in there, and dab this out. We'll see how it goes. For like a water texture, you know, I kind of just want like the sailor's looking up, you know, towards the mermaid. I just want to get sort of a base. We use it various sides so it's not just the same pattern, so it doesn't look like you just use the clone tool in Photoshop. Some wet sides and some dry sides. Look at it all. And we'll see. I'm experimenting here. We're just doing this one kind of for fun. Actually, to be honest, it's going to be evident here in a second. But I really shy away from doing any IP at all, like anybody else's intellectual property. It bugs me when I go to art shows or conventions and things, and people have fan art up that they're selling. Fan art is great, and it's a really good way to show your appreciation to the show, or even practice your skills. But if you're selling it, man, you don't own the license to that. You know what I'm saying? So you don't have. I mean, some people do it at Comic-Con and stuff like that. Maybe the guys that actually work for Marvel or Disney or whatever, they they have a license maybe to sell prints of art that they've made, but depending on their contract, I guess. But just Joe Schmuckschmo in the art alley in Decatur, Illinois, doing a bunch of IP. Yeah, that's not cool. It doesn't sit well with me. And I apologize if that offends anybody, but that's the way I feel, and that's the way the law feels, and I'm sure it's the way the IP holders feel as well. So go pound sand, right? But today we're gonna break from that just for a second, and which is to say, then maybe I won't be selling this one. This will just be a personal project, just for fun, just to finish it out today. And it's gonna be Popeye and olive oil. Popeye's the doomed sailor, and olive oil is the mermaid. So that's what we're working up here today. Let's see. Spoiler alert. All right, so I've actually got that water down. Looks like it's a little bit wet still. Let's get had a couple gunkies on there. All right, so let's just let that dry down a second before we get too crazy with it. What we could do is, while I'm letting the part dry that's above the figures, I can take a big brush and go in and make some areas darker. Now, as you go deeper, as you know, obviously, even if you were born in the West and raised in the Midwest, you know that it gets darker the deeper you go in the water. If you've seen any kind of televised movie type pictures. So we'll just use this time to make that a little darker down here towards the bottom. I meant to I was having troubles yesterday. Rom mentioned that it was out of sync, and when I watched it again later just to kind of review the problems I was having, mine was at times it was out of sync too for me, for the recorded, I guess, version. And so hopefully I've rectified that. But in doing so, I was researching different audio filters and things like that, and I thought, I think that maybe it's the fact that my MacBook just is slower. It's older than my PC. It's got less processor capabilities, worse graphic capabilities, and a lot less RAM. So that maybe it would just behoove me to use my PC. The only time the PC really bothers me is when I'm electronically drawing, when I'm doing my Troll and Friends strip at the 10 o'clock stream. Sometimes it like the system just kind of kicks me out of what I'm doing. So like my brush will be selected, and then all of a sudden it won't be selected, and I'm sure that's just something with the OS doing something in the background. Windows is always doing something in the background, updating something. So I went to this morning start up my PC, figuring, all right, well, we'll just work on the PC from now on, whatever. And and the thing won't start. It's like there was damage. It needs to self repair, and then it's just been self repairing for a few hours. So I don't have time right now to figure it out. Luckily, I'm not a complete idiot, so I can figure out, even if I have to take the drive out and put it in another computer and boot it up. I can do all that. But so that's where we were on the Mac today. So I apologize if it's a little bit choppy or if things are a little out of sync. Just pretend it's a kung fu movie. Here on Friday. All right. I figure we might as well keep going with this nautical theme. So I'm going to throw some yellow ink down. Oh, this could be the one. Nope. I thought this was the one that defeated me. So I look like a fool on the stream. Not yet. I'll find other ways to look foolish on the stream. It won't be by not being able to open a bottle. We all know I've never had trouble opening a bottle. All right, so we take this yeller, kind of paint it in. These coral spots. I guess coral is probably more of a coral color, but we're going to use yellow for now. What's that, Brad? Mean not being able to open a bottle? A little too much yellow here, but we can hit it with some blue later. Mainly, I just want to stay away from the figures. Just let that dry, so then I can go in and draw on the figures, and then come back and paint a little bit more. A little. Yeah, I say I'm staying away from the figures, but I want to kind of get this color in while it's nice and aqua looking, so that the figures don't just have like a white halo around them or something. A little more blue in that. All right, that seems underwatery to me. So now we'll see if I have let this dry down enough. I could always very carefully press with a dry paper towel. That might get us. Might be dry enough. Let me take a sip. Shit. I almost spilled this whole bottle, this whole glass. What the? Ooh, we got a new follower. All right, thanks, guys. I think that was the follower noise. I just heard a crazy noise. It's very exciting. Oh, it's a tip. Nice. Thanks, Brad. Thanks for tipping. I'm gonna have to move that prompt over to the other side so I can actually read it. But yeah, thanks for tipping, Brad. It's completely unnecessary, but I appreciate it. But you'll notice that I say it's unnecessary, but then I did move like a big tip jar button for everybody's convenience. This one doesn't go through Ko-Fi or anything. It goes right through Streamlabs, which is streamlabs.com, is a website that has all kinds of filters and different different things that you can do to your stream layout. It's where I got the ability to put the chat stream on there and how many people are following or watching right now, and it goes right to them, but they don't take a cut at all. So it goes. All of the tips go directly to my PayPal, so that's awesome. I appreciate it. All right, so now we're gonna draw olive oil. What did I do with my brush pen I had out? I haven't gotten up, so it's got to be here within arm's reach. This is how I work, everybody. I'm just so fuddled. How on the deuce did that go away? Here it is. It was hiding in my cup full of pens. Brad, I don't know if you saw this the other day, but I got a D20 coffee mug. I think actually they gifted it to Janelle, but she's not a coffee drinker. so it wound up holding my pens. All right, we got the small side here today, and I'm going to start drawing in olive oil here. I've got a picture of olive oil actually up on the screen that you guys can't see, like in a different window. So I'm going to do my best to plagiarize. A little bit of olive oil here, which isn't my usual speed, but I was thinking, I thought of the idea of having a doomed sailor, and basically the same composition that I'm showing right now. And then I thought, well, wouldn't it be funny if it was Popeye's hand reaching up? And I thought so. So my need for comedy overrode my need for propriety. But like I said, I won't be selling this this one. This will just be for fun. Or Rom, if you wind up that that you like this one, it can be your incentive, your Patreon prize for your backer level. I think we'll put her with a starfish bra. And then her hand is coming down, and they've got those big sausage fingers. And since I used that watercolor pencil to make my initial sketch, pretty much gone. As I put that sponge over it, adding that watercolor into the back, it pretty much sucked that all up. But that's okay, because I've kind of got, the idea in of where things need to go. We got some bluegrass music. It kind of sounds like 2, 3, 4. One more finger. Kind of sounds like when the Minutemen take over in Fallout 4, and they've got that radio station. Does anybody actually listen to that? Like, I like bluegrass music. Obviously, I've got some here on my thing, but it's just too much to be listening. Especially when you could be listening to all the other cool music that comes out of there. And then she'll have her got a smirk way up here. This a little darker. Not too terrible. That'll work out. Let me congratulate myself with some water. All right. All right. I'm tempted to give her a navel, but a mermaid wouldn't have a navel. Do they have umbilical cords? I don't know. All right, so we got this hat here. Right, Popeye wears that kind of captain's hat, doesn't he? Guess I could have looked up pictures of Popeye too, but I felt more confident in drawing his stuff with that reference. Because since it's really just going to be an arm, it's going to be like a sleeve and an arm. It's got the anchor, right? All right, I think I'm going to do the rest in paint. We'll give that ink just a second to dry, because it's water. Unlike that Pilot pen that I sometimes go in there and do the fine cross hatching with. this stuff is water fast. So I'm just gonna give it a second to dry. It's better when it's dry. All right, I'm vetoing this just because I'm having flashbacks from Fallout 4. All right, Imelda May, Mr. 5x5. This is my theme song. It's Mr. 5x5. He's 5 feet tall and he's 5 foot wide. Got 17 chins and a line of jive. All right, so we're gonna get a medium-sized brush coming in here. This guy's pretty nice. I'd like to just start off with that yellow and do her tail in yellow. I think, remember when I did that that Grim Reaper on the, it was supposed to be a penny farthing, but it kind of turned out to be more like a tricycle. And I used that saddle brown, that Dr. P.H. Martin's saddle brown concentrated ink, and it went down brown and then separated into like a rose color and a green color, and it was a really happy accident. I think I'm going to use that for her torso, and probably for his arm too, just kind of for the flesh tones. Got 15 chins and a line of jive. A real het fat. So Brad, you done with school now? Was that last week? I know I asked you. Soon. Real soon. Dried ink there, gotta get that off there. Sometimes I get crusties in the threads of the ink bottles. Alright, just letting that that yellow. I could put some good blue in his sleeve here. Yes, yes. Oh, nice. Is it? It's going to Penthouse Forum. Is that what it's going to be published in? Well, congrats on being done with school. It's got to give you a lot more time. Are you still working on Fridays or no? Dear Penthouse. I'm just an average guy from South Texas. Oh, we got some yodeling cowboy action going on. Speaking of South Texas. I like this, but if either of you two viewers hate it, let me know and I'll turn it off. All right. Brush off. I'm gonna, I think, get some pen work in here and just do a little touching up on his hat. Okay, now to bust out, I think, that saddle brown. And we'll see if it does anything magical for us today, or if I just completely screw the whole thing up. shake that up good. I think, to be honest, I just didn't shake it that well last time. It's been sitting for a couple years. But then again, this is the first time we've ever, this is the first bottle of this concentrated. It's, I don't know which way you guys are going. Anyway, radiant concentrated watercolor. We'll shake that up good. And a drop. Oh, we need one drop, Jay. Don't fuck this up. Oh, screwed it up. It was like 20 drops. I do that every time. And it's got a little squeezer built in, but it must be clogged or something because it never picks any up. That's right. If it's getting old and crappy anyway, I don't really feel the need to keep it around. So let's water this down real well. And just go in and kind of paint. But we're gonna paint like we're doing a tattoo flash. So, you know, leave a little air for skin break. Hey, there's a Worst Fest commercial, Brad. Oh shit, I fucked it up.
Your admission and drink tickets
here.
Fun?
I wrote this, everybody.
The Worst Fest. 10 days of music, dancing, food, shopping, and fun.
Jawohl.
It's going on right now through November 16th in New Braunfels. Buy your admission and drink tickets online at worstfest.com.
Drink tickets, not beer tickets. All right. Now I might have screwed up the volume levels, so we'll see how it goes. This is a band called the 2 Time and 3, who was they were from Boston and then moved to Austin to continue their music careers. And then the lead singer Eric was killed by a drunk driver a few years after they arrived. That was probably 2010 or so. It's been a while now. Real pity, real loss. He had a great voice, and he was a super nice guy. He'd been playing a show in San Antonio and driving home on his motorcycle, and someone just ran him over, dragged him forever, and then fled the scene, and they never caught him. So anyway, there's a happy Friday, everybody. Yeah, it's a real loss, but I think about him every time I hear his music, so it carries on. You know, everybody, his new friends, everybody loved him. He really made an impact on the rockabilly scene up there, down there rather. Let's talk about something else, shall we? I dropped that bomb, and then I'm like, all right, well, I'm just gonna keep drawing here, everybody. Think about that in silence for a second. As I simply could not get up this morning. How's that? Is that good? Good talk. I fell asleep on the couch last night at about midnight. Woke up at 5 or so, and then didn't want to go disturb Janelle, who was sleeping so peacefully. And her alarm goes off at like 6, so I didn't want to, come into bed that close to her alarm, then wake her up and have her not be able to get back to sleep. So I slept in the guest bed with the cat until about 10. So my alarm went off at 9:30, and I slept right through it. Right. So you guys can see what I'm doing here. Let me switch back to the. Yeah, it's going all right. I'm going to use some of this blue and use it to paint in the scales now, just by dabbing. As Ziploc bags taught us, yellow and blue make green. So just painting straight blue on top of this very bright yellow, we're going to get a nice green. A nice vibrant green too. Mixing colors is just, it makes a really way more interesting hue than just doing straight colors just straight out of the bottle. Sounds like Lead Belly. It is. I think I mentioned this before, but I once did a portrait of Leadbelly, a big 16 by 20 inch canvas for a housewarming present, and it was a photo of him playing a guitar, you know. So I just kind of did that and added my own style to it, and did it in actually paint and color, the color hue that was left over from my friend painting his new condo, and so the painting really fits in his interior because it's all the same paint. You know, I used his interior latex just as the, you know, 3 colors that I used for this painting. And I'd say it probably took me a week and a half to do the painting, but the whole time he was sitting there in my workspace, the Leadbelly on the canvas was just sitting there, and every time I would go walk past him, I would hear him sing "Pick a Bale of Cotton." You know, this is probably the most famous version of that song. And so just like for a week and a half, 2 weeks, just every time I walked past my work area, which was in the kitchen at the time, just, oh Lord, pick a bale of cotton. Oh Lord, pick a bale a day. You know, it's a great song, but maybe not to be in your head constantly for 2 weeks. But it's my my buddy's favorite blues singer, so I thought that would be a nice gift for him. All right, we got kind of a speckled little scale action going on there, and I'll go through again and hit it with another layer of these, just because I know it's hard to see on the screen. It looks a lot more yellow on the screen, but I'll still go in with another layer. You know, it looks like this the saddle brown that I used for their skin tones kind of held up better this time than it did on that Grim Reaper painting, which is good, I guess, for this application, because that's exactly what I needed it to do. But it's still kind of disappointing because that was such a cool effect that happened by accident on that other drawing. So if you're just joining in, this is my combination of Dismay 2018 and Mermay 2018, and it's the old doomed sailor, and I think we all recognize him. Seaweed might look like spinach, but it's not. And possibly one of the worst things you can ever put in your mouth is a dried seaweed chip. It is just terrible. I had a girlfriend that was big into Korean food, and so she would, you know, she would made actually, you know, decent Korean food, but she would go to like Korean groceries and buy snacks and things. And one time she got like these chips, and they were just dehydrated seaweed. And you know those old Listerine strips? I don't know if they even make those anymore. They look like little postage stamp size, and you put them on your tongue and it dissolves and then freshens your breath, or that was the thing. This was like the opposite of that. This was the evil opposite of those breath strips, because it was just like a piece of seaweed that you put in your mouth, and then it just immediately, don't knock it, Brad. Just immediately just dissolved and coated your mouth in what can only be described as a taste equal to Poseidon's underpants on day 3. Just bad, just horrible. So, yeah, don't ever try that. I live so that you may learn. I'm just trying to put a little texture here in this coral. Coral! Coral! Your mom's dead, Coral! Spoiler alert, but now Coral's dead too. It's not really a spoiler, it happened several months ago. Alright, that's a nice undersea feel to it. Let me get a little bit more blue tone in his hat. Not Bluto, blue tone. Even though I know he wears a white hat, I just wanted to get the little bit of the underwater thing going on. And you know, I've got that Pilot pen. So what I'm going to do is use that and just to put a little ink pool here inside the very dark black part of the hat. And then with the small brush, I'm going to just use straight water and pick some of that up so that I get the gray to come out. So usually that would be a terrible thing to have a pen that wasn't waterproof. But I think in this case we can use it to our advantage. All right. As long as I have it on the brush, I might as well, add a little shading over here. Now I think what I'll do is open up my watercolor pencils. I've got this nice set of Koh-i-Noor Heartache. They're like Belgian or some shit like that. We'll open this up, maybe without dumping them everywhere. That would be pretty funny. Be like a Good Friday thing. All right. Open up. Like I mentioned earlier, and I'm not sure if anybody was tuning in at the time, but I've got another webcam actually coming in the mail. It's going to arrive today. Amazon says it's out for delivery today. So we'll have a better shot of me, so you don't have to just see me real tiny in that corner. We'll have a more of a head-on face shot, and then this shot going down with the artwork. So I'm just going to use this pink watercolor pencil to color in her bikini area. And then I want a little bit like on her nose and in her cheeks too, just kind of the rosy places, elbows, and maybe the underside of her belly there. Palm, rosy palm, my prom date. All right. And I also, I think that was all we needed, just that little bit. I want to use my small brush pen and just continue this sleeve down into the coral. And we'll take the very tiny brush with just straight water, tap it to get the water droplets off the side, because otherwise they might slide down the barrel of the pen and give you a terrible surprise. Just basically a big gush of water where you don't need it. Here's some talking heads. I have a lot of talking heads in this mix, and they never ever show up. I'm glad they did. Again, here I'm just adding straight water. It's that watercolor pencil, it goes down like a colored pencil, but then it's activated by water. Just to give a little tone in there. Okay, so as promised, I think I'm going to go back in and do a little bit more work on those scales. Just adding I'm going to add some blue and yellow together on the palette, just so it's a little bit different of a tone than what I was using before. And at this time I've got a smaller brush. It needs more pigment, less water. We're just, you know, we'll use this dark green that I'm putting down, this kind of emerald color, to jade color, to just kind of give her some shading on the curl of her tail here. I got excited. I thought I heard the door. I thought it was the UPS man coming, but it wasn't. It was my ice maker, which is just as exciting. I love my little ice maker, but it's not the same. All right, so those are. You know, I think that's good. I'm not gonna ruin this. So we got this little guy going for Dismay 2018, and for Mermaid 2018, and for May the 4th. I guess we could have done Princess Leia one, but that's enough copyright infringement for me. You know, I don't feel comfortable even doing this much. But thank you guys for tuning in. Kind of a short one today, but knock on wood, knock on plastic tabletop. I have very few technical difficulties. Things are getting better. So everyone have a great weekend. At 10 a.m. on Monday, I'll be streaming for my Patreon backers, doing the next episode of trollandfriends.com, the next comic strip. And then at 1 p.m. on Monday, I'll be back doing creative stuff. Maybe that module for Alex Camera if he gets back to me. Otherwise, we'll do just another Dismay prompt. Whatever we got, man. We're going to do it. All right. Well, everyone have a great weekend, and thanks for tuning in.